Every story has an official version. We told what was hidden. In April 1992, a 6-year-old boy came to play close to home. Was never seen alive again. What happened next was one of the biggest worldwide scandals in Brazilian history. On crime brutal. One corrupted investigation. And innocent people who spent years behind bars for something they never did. But the most disturbing part of this story, the real culprit remained at large, living normally for decades. This is the Evandro case, and he will show you, like justice, can fail in ways you can't even imagine. Guaratuba is a small town on the coast of Paraná. In 1992, had just over 20,000 inhabitants. The type of place where everyone knows each other, where children still played in the street. Evandro Caetano was 6 years old, son of a family, one common boy, in the most beautiful way that expression can have. On the 6th day of April, 1992, a Monday, Evander left for Stockholm, next to your house in the Miram neighborhood. It was late afternoon. Your parents didn't care right away. Children played until dark at that time. But Evander did not return. The next day, his body was found in a thicket. He had been murdered. The report showed signs of torture and brands that researchers classified as satanic rituals. The city panicked, the press arrived en masse. And the pressure for the police to find the culprits, it was immediate. This is exactly the kind of pressure that destroys, continues. In the days following the crime, investigators began to hear rumors. Rumors about a satanic sect that would operate in the city. About rituals, about sacrifices. In 1992, Brazil was experiencing the height of moral panic about Satanism. Similar cases abroad dominated the news. And the Guaratuba police was under enormous pressure to present responses. Suspects emerged quickly. Brilliant Sebastião Ustra, unrelated to the military torturer of the same name. Beatrice beats a woman who claimed to be anal. And other locals. The accusations came from depositions of witnesses who said they saw the suspects near the scene, of reports on rituals and sacrifices. But there was a huge problem with these testimonials. They were obtained under pressure. Some testimonies came from children. Children who decades later would come back to everything, saying they were coerced to lie. In 1994, Beatriz Abad was convicted. Other Rios too. The sentences reached decades in prison. The city was relieved. The case was closed. Only it wasn't. Years later, a man named Andre began to appear in the... He had been Evandro's mother's boyfriend at the time of the crime, had access to the child, had a history of violent behavior. Independent researchers and journalists helped gather evidence, testimonials from people who knew him, reports of his behavior at the time of the crime, inconsistencies in your alibi. At the same time, the witnesses who had convicted original Rios. Try to portray yourself, one by one, saying they were pressed, who said what the researchers wanted to hear. In 2012, 20 years after the crime, the case has returned to court. New experts were requested, new testimonials were collected, and what emerged was devastating. The original convictions were based on flimsy evidence, fabricated testimonials, an investigation conducted on moral panic and political pressure. in 2000. The Paraná Court of Justice overturned the convictions. The kings, who had already served part of the sentences, were innocent people had lost years of their lives. Their families destroyed, your ruined reputations. And Evandro still didn't have justice. The Evandro case is not just a crime. It is on how systems fail. First point, the role of the media, coverage, journalistic of the time, amplified the panic about Satanism. This put pressure on the police to present culprits quickly. Speed and accuracy rarely walk together in criminal investigations. Second point, children's testimonials. In 1992, Brazil had no protocols suitable for hearing children in criminal proceedings. Children are highly suggestible, especially when adults around already arrive with one narrative formed. Third point, snow bias. One-time researchers decided that there was one satanic sect involved. Each new information has been interpreted to confirm this theory. Contrary evidence was ignored. Alternative suspects were not investigated. This phenomenon has a name, investigation vision, and it destroys cases in all countries of the world. Not out of malice, but why is the human brain programmed to seek? It depends on what you already believe. Today, the Evandro case remains technically unsolved. Andre, if he was investigated, but never formally convicted of the crime, the D in 2000 and their lives as they could, and Evandro's family still waits for justice. What this case leaves us is a question that does not have an easy answer. When a judicial system fails in this way, when innocent are arrested and guilty remain free, who answers for this? Not the judges, not the promoters, not researchers. The system failed, and systems don't go to jail. Evandro was 6 years old, left for Stockholm one April afternoon, and never came back. That's the only certainty left of this case. If you got this far, leave the like. It helps the channel to grow and bring more cases like this. If you know someone who is interested in true crime, share this video. And in the comments, you think the real culprit will one day be tried? Until the next case.